Yay! Hi, y'all. I hope your weekend was amazing. I hope you got a lot of good food, a lot of good rest. Yeah. So I'm here because, hi, thanks for joining. I'm here because I'm actually supposed to be doing a challenge, and I'm talking about like my I guess my like creative journey and things like that, and it's supposed to be like a transformation story. But the only thing about like transformation stories is that, usually when you think of someone transforming into something great, you think about like slaying dragons. You think about like a hero's journey. And so when we think about hero journeys, we think about like people who have already like accomplished amazing things, and people who are winning and like making millions of dollars and have, a bunch of followers and all the success. But really, when we look at people like that, then we start to look down on ourselves. And for me, I was like, well, what is my transformation story? Like, what is my success story, so to speak, And how do I share my journey and my process while I'm in process? So like I'm, accomplished by some standards, I guess, but not by all the standards I want to be accomplished. And so sharing my transformation journey is oh, thank you. Thanks for calling me beautiful. Sharing my transformation journey seemed difficult because I'm like, well, I haven't accomplished anything. I'm still in process. And I felt like a fraud. I felt like, well, I can't really share anything with anybody because like I'm still learning as I'm sharing my own stuff. Like as I'm trying to pull people up with me, I'm still trying to learn things myself. I still struggle with imposter syndrome. I still struggle with fear and anxiety and not feeling good enough, and like all the horrible feelings you feel as a creative, as an artist, as an entrepreneur, as a person in general, trying to just like go through life and create like this amazing life that you want to create for yourselves and for others, And the truth is like you're more than ready and more accomplished than you think you are. And so it really took me sitting down with my husband and like, well, what is my transformation story? I don't really understand. I don't really know. It wasn't until like I actually spoke with him and he showed me like all these things that I was doing, all these things that I was capable of doing. Sometimes it takes you going outside of yourself and really talking to other people who love you and know you to show you like actually you are doing great things. You are doing amazing things. And while it might not be on a public stage or a public platform, like it's actually the small things that you do, they count. The small changes you make in people's lives, they matter, and a lot of times we discount like all the creative work we're doing, all the impact we're having on people we love and that we know and people who we don't know. Like some impact that we have on people we'll never see. But because we can't see it, we discount the impact that we're having on the world. And so I was doing the same thing and I was struggling. Like, I'm like, I'm not good enough. Like, I'm not doing anything great. Yes, even if no one knows exactly. Like, so, it's really hard when you feel like a fraud to be able to encourage other people and be like, no, like, you should still do the thing. When you're sitting in your own stuff, like, should I do the thing? I'm not sure. But I know for me, like, I trash my highlight reel. And this is something that my husband actually said to me this morning. I'm very self-critical and very like it's difficult to celebrate myself, but it's easy for me to celebrate other people, right? It's either easy for me to be like, oh my God, you're doing a thing, you're amazing, like you're brilliant and all these awesome things. But when it comes to myself, like I'm like, no, what I did, that doesn't count. Like people will thank me and I have a hard time accepting compliments. Like I'm like, oh, okay, thanks. Like it wasn't perfect, but I put it out there. And comparison and perfectionism is something I've struggled with my whole life. Like not feeling good enough, not feeling like my thing is individual enough or unique enough. Like feeling like other people are doing it and doing it better. And that's the thing. Like with social media, it feels like I'm always trying to like, hey, care about this thing that I'm doing, And I hate putting myself out there like that. But once I really gave myself permission to just have fun, and to play, the whole game changed for me. So if you follow along with my journey, you know that I make music. And one of the projects I put out was called Play. And so the whole point of Play was just for me to have fun, for me literally just to play. And I wasn't worried about like, people finding the music. I wasn't really worried about marketing. I didn't really put all of my work into that. My work went into me actually having fun and playing and creating something because it felt good to make. And so because of that, people resonated with the music. And I'm like, wow. So when I don't try hard, to get people to like and to subscribe or to like follow, that's when people really feel it, because there's no like desperation behind what you're doing. You're just being yourself, you know? And so I didn't think anything that I was doing was special. I didn't think it was like, you know, amazing. Like I felt like, you know, what I was doing was just something that was in my own heart to do. And by me showing up as myself, by me showing up here live, by me showing up on YouTube or sharing my music or whatever it is, like I come to find that a lot more people are impacted by what I do than I know, than they might not even say to me. And for you, it's the same thing. Like a lot of people are impacted and are encouraged and inspired by stuff that you're doing that you discount, that you don't feel like is good enough, that you don't feel like, you know, is good enough to go like on your feed on Instagram or in an email or whatever. But I promise you that you're more accomplished and gifted than you know. And so my whole work, anything I do, my music, my photography, showing up here on live, the whole point of what I do is to make people feel loved, to make people feel supported, and to make creatives and individuals alike feel like they matter. Because I feel like for so long in my own life, I felt like I didn't matter. I felt like nothing I did mattered. Nothing was making a big impact, especially by the world standards. Like if you're not a millionaire, then, you know, your business is a fail. Or if you're not as famous as this artist here, then like your music sucks, you know? And so I was measuring myself, my own self-worth by these impossible standards. And then in turn, downplaying my own worth, my own gift, my own self. And so I really feel like God doesn't want us to do that. I don't think that God put us here to just kind of like bash ourselves and say that we're not good enough. But I really believe that he gives us the gifts and the creative stuff, the creative work to do, to be able to, one, help ourselves, but also help other people. And so when we stay stuck within ourselves and like, no, I'm afraid, like before we do any of that stuff, when we say stuck, we in turn allow other people to miss out on stuff that they're supposed to get to. Hi, y'all. I see y'all waving. Thanks for being here. And so since I've given myself permission to just play and have fun and to not think like so big. I mean, the thing is, there's nothing wrong with dreaming big. Like, I feel like we should all dream big, right? But I also feel like the small steps that we don't celebrate, we should start to celebrate now. Like, celebrate the big things that we're doing now. Like, again, last night on my YouTube live, if you're dreaming of being a chef and you cooked a meal for your friends or your family, celebrate that thing. That's worthy of celebration. Like, that still counts. Like, those small steps still matter. Those small steps that, you know, you look at, it's like, it's just a meal. Like, it's nothing. No, it's something huge. Hey, Crystal, thanks for being here. And so I want people, again, no matter what work I'm making, photography, writing, music, anything, I want people to know that they matter, that their gifts matter, that their story matters. Like the podcast I do where I'm interviewing other people, it's amazing how they think their story is not interesting. And I'm like, you're amazing. How do you not think your story is interesting? But it's because we are ourselves and we don't think that we're anything special, but we really are. And so I have something called Black Girl Creative, a podcast I just started. And it's really about inspiring Black women specifically, but really just creatives in general, to keep pursuing their creative work. Again, whether you're raising children, whether you're creating a home, it's all about the journey, not the final destination. Thank you. Exactly. Like, we miss out on the beauty of the journey because we're so focused on trying to reach this end goal that maybe, honestly, isn't the goal for us, but we think that it is because of what other people are doing. And so it can be really distracting us from experiencing the joy of our everyday lives, creating a small meal for someone we love. In turn, like, no, it's like that meal's not enough because I'm thinking about this restaurant I want to open up. You know what I'm saying? And you miss out on the beauty of your life today. And so my whole goal is like to push women, but also creatives in general, like to work through depression and trauma and anxiety and perfectionism and all these other things that get in our way of creating, to create through play, rest, and fun. You know, those things that we did when we were kids, like that we somehow believe that when we get older, we shouldn't have fun anymore. We shouldn't play. We should be really serious. That's the healing work. Like, that's the stuff that really feeds our inner creatives. Like, that's the stuff that matters. Like the fun, like when you think about great memories, either they're centered around trauma, right? Horrible things, or amazing things, like amazing experiences you've had with people you love. And so with ourselves, when we allow ourselves to play more, to rest more, to have more fun, to build more connections with people and bridges, and to really just be open to community, that's when we find the good stuff, you know? And so my whole point in this whole live is like just to tell you that Your journey is still beautiful, even if it's in process, even if you're not where you want to be, even if you feel like you're failing, even if you feel like what you're doing, nobody cares, no one's showing up for what you're doing, like no one's supporting you. The dream was given to you for a reason. God trusts you with that dream for a reason. Like, he's not just out here just giving people stuff willy-nilly. No, like the gifts that you have, the ability to communicate with other people, the ability to create music, the ability to write, the ability to make people feel at home and safe, the ability to create a home for people, the ability to cook. Like, these gifts he's given you to give to yourself, but also to other people. And so you don't want to miss your opportunity to be a blessing to somebody else because you're too worried about being as good as X person over here, or because you feel like you're not where you should be. You are where you should be. Like, we're all where we should be. Like, I know sometimes we feel like, oh, I'm behind in life. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sucking, whatever. Like, you're not behind. You're exactly where you're supposed to be. But every day we have an opportunity, no matter how many resources we have, no matter how much money we have access to, the people, the places we are, each day we have the opportunity and the ability to create something great for other people, great for yourself. Like, I'm always about create for yourself first before you're trying to please anybody else. But please share your gift with other people because it is good enough. I promise you, the meal you make for somebody in your own home, when they don't have no home cooked meal at home, like, that means the world to them. The ability to sleep on your couch and to feel safe and to let down their guards and like talk to you about things that are going on in their heart, like, that matters. Like, Crystal's on here. I literally just got off Google Hangout with her, and her creating that safe space for me to like vent and to share and to commune with her, that means a lot. And for some people, they might say, oh, that's not good enough. No, that's amazing. That's life changing. You know what I mean? You taking the first step, you putting on armor, you stepping into that ring, whatever that ring looks like for you, again, like showing up for your dream or for your family or for like your future, whatever it is, taking those small steps, they're worthy of celebration. They're worthy of you looking at yourself and saying, I did a good job today. Today I'm good. I feel good about myself. And we should always feel good about ourselves because our worth is not measured by how much we get done. Our worth is not measured by how successful we think we should be. Our worth is not measured by how many followers we have, how much money we have. Even though the world tells us that we should, it's a lie. And you will always lose. If that's how you're measuring your worth, you will always lose. And so I really want us to really sit and take time and stillness and appreciation for one, ourselves, for one, our God, and the gifts that God gave us. You know what I'm saying? And use those gifts every single day to do something great. You got a phone, you hear, right? Like, you got technology. You have the ability to call someone and offer them an encouraging word, or go live and just share something that's on your heart. Like, there is too many like accessible things that we have for all these excuses that we have for not feeling good enough. You are good enough because you're here, and God doesn't waste life. He doesn't waste gifts. He doesn't waste talents. And so you're here for a reason. Stand in the place that you're supposed to be, because when you're not in the place you're supposed to be, we feel it missing. We feel you missing. You matter. And I'm just getting really passionate because I really believe that. And I know it's really hard, like when we're comparing ourselves to other people or by the world's, you know what I'm saying, standards and stuff like that. Like, of course we're going to feel like trash because the world wants us to feel like trash, to feed into the system or these beliefs, so that we walk around with low self-esteem and we're just feeding into whatever they want us to do. They want us to buy these things. Every commercial is like, you're not good enough. Buy this thing. Duh. It's their benefit for you to not feel good about yourself. But once you start to feel good about yourself and what you're doing, and know that no matter how many small steps you take, they all matter. It's all important. And I don't care if you're Beyonce or a person singing on the street. Sing, use your voice, use your God-given talent to show people, one, that they matter, but also that you're here and you're standing in the gap for what was missing before. And I'm gonna come back, but yeah, don't wait until the world celebrates you to celebrate yourself. Don't wait until you feel like you have made it to see yourself as worthy. Don't wait until like you get $1,000 from a sale or whatever to know that what you make is good enough. It's good enough today when nobody sees you cooking in the kitchen. It's good enough today when you're singing in the shower. It's good enough today when you're journaling and writing love letters to your children and to your auntie or whoever, writing a card and sending it in the mail. All that stuff matters. And we need you. We need you. And so the thing is, we're all creative, right? We're all made by God. He has given us all these creative abilities, whether you create people, as in like having babies, whether you create meals for other people, again, spaces, we're all creative. We just forget. You know what I'm saying? Like, we just forget how to be creative. And it's almost like we have to relearn how to be kids again. When you're a child, you don't have to think about, am I loved? Unless you grew up in a household where you didn't feel loved, until someone told you that you were not loved, you knew you mattered. You knew that you had value, right? It wasn't until someone told you that you didn't have value that then you started questioning your value. You know what I'm saying? And when you're kids and you're playing outside, you don't have to learn how to be creative. You don't have to learn how to imagine and how to dream. You're born with that ability, and you're born with that ability for a reason, because God wants you to dream. That dream you have, he wants you to follow through on that thing, even if it's smaller than what you can access today. Like I said, the example of being a chef. Cook a meal and give it to somebody. That's good enough. And that's honorable, and that's worthy of celebration. You know what I'm saying? You know you're worthy. You know your value. You just forgot. You forgot. And so it's my mission, it's my hope, it's my goal that no matter what I do, that people leave me feeling worthy. They leave me feeling loved. They leave me feeling, I feel like I'm a bit emotional. They leave me feeling like they matter on this earth, because they do. They do. Every single story matters. Every single person has to play their position, play their part. And when you don't, the world feels it. And we do miss you. And we do. And you matter. So that's my whole point of getting on this live today, is to really just tell that transformation story of how I gave myself permission to just play. And I'm not perfect, and I don't have it all right. And sometimes I don't, sing on key. Sometimes I forget the lyrics. Sometimes I come on live and I'm sweating profusely and like messing up and stumbling over my words. But the fact that I'm willing to step in the ring and to even try, like, that's more than what some people do. And so when you don't step in the ring, we feel you not stepping in the ring. When you step into the ring, when you try, when you get up and you do the research and you experiment and you go off and you come back and reiterate and all this other stuff, that stuff is worthy of celebration. All the behind the scenes stuff that nobody sees, you're worthy of celebration. You're worthy of your dream. And that's all I really have to say today. So I hope that you guys have had an amazing Tuesday. Thank you for being here. I will save it. I'll save it and I'll post it on my page. And so yes, Mark says, especially for artists, the success is a byproduct of your creation, not the main focus. Exactly. And the people that we resonate with most, like artist-wise, are the people that are being themselves. They're not trying to be somebody else. Like, they're being all of their authentic selves with all the quirks and like mistakes and all this other stuff. We don't care, because we know that they're being themselves. They're being authentic and honest. So anyway, I hope that you had a wonderful, wonderful Tuesday. And until next time, you guys, keep loving yourselves, keep creating, and keep showing up in the ring, because what you do, it matters. Okay? Talk to you later. Bye.